Hi everyone, thank you for joining us for our Thursday, June 11th edition of MindFit, brought to you by Home Care Assistants. Whether you're joining us for the first time or you've been with us for the last two sessions, a little bit of background on the MindFit program is that it's part of our cognitive stimulation domain of balance care. And here at Home Care Assistants, our focus is on providing personalized one-on-one in-home care. And our way that we set that up is guided by the balance care method, where we focus on 5 different areas of healthy aging to promote wellness and quality of life as we're working with our clients and communities. So today we're focusing on cognitive stimulation with our MindFit program, and there's lots of different things that you can do outside of a program to focus on cognitive stimulation. Having a conversation with an old friend, doing a crossword puzzle, listening to a radio program about a new topic that you're not familiar with, solving just a general everyday problem. Anytime we're challenging our brain to do something in a new and different way, we're getting stimulation, we're making sure that we're challenging ourselves, and that's really what this is all about. So I'm looking forward to lots of challenges over the next half hour. We're going to start with picture word search today, and then quiz 100, which we've done the last 2 weeks a couple times. Letter puzzles and compound picture pairs are new, so we'll do all of these together. I also wanted to point out in the corner of the screen you'll see a little red box that says talk about it, and this is a new feature to MindFit this week. Throughout the program you'll see this red box pop up, and it just gives an extra question or two if you're doing this with a care partner, a family member, or a friend, to spark a little bit extra conversation and a deeper dive into some of the topics we're going to be talking about. So feel free to stop this program or put it on pause throughout, take notes, come up with your own answers. I'm going to keep going through the questions, but if you need more time, just hit pause and you can have as much time as you need. So our first exercise is picture word search, and we've done this a couple times in the past. The goal here is to find words within this painting that begin with the letters P or S, and it could be an action, it could be a descriptive word, or a noun, an object, something that you see in the painting, and you can get pretty creative. I'll give a couple examples before we take a break and give you a little time to come up with some on your own. So, for example, for P, in the back here, this gentleman appears to be painting. And for S, we've got this gentleman here who looks pretty stressed to me. This painting is called Home Improvement by Stephen Dehanos, and it was painted in 1953. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time to look through on your own and see what words you can come up with. All right, I'm going to move on to the answers, or you can pause here and take a little bit of extra time. Okay, so here are our answers for words that begin with P or S in this painting. And we've got, again, our painter in the background. We've got a saucer here. He's got a suit on, it looks like. There's some, if you have really good eyesight, you can see the sugar canister there in the background. and a couple other things on our list as well. Our talk about it question for this slide is, have you ever taken on a home improvement project and how did it go? So you might want to share that with a friend. I'll tell you, I'm in the middle of renovating a almost 100-year-old home right now, and I can certainly relate to the stressed look that he's feeling, but it's well worth it in the end if you've ever gone through it before. All right, we've got our next picture word search. This is another painting by Stephen Dohanos, also 1953. Working on the Jalopy is the title of this painting. And we're looking for words that begin with a W or an H in this painting, a W or an H. And I'll get us started with the wash and the fact that it is hanging. So wash and hanging in the background there. And I'll give you a little bit of time to look through it yourself. See what you can come up with. All right. So we're going to move on. You can pause if you'd like more time. Okay, so we came up with a good list here. We've got working. I guess he's painting a wolf here on the car. Women, wheels, windshield, hanging, helping, headlights, hammer, which I think is almost covered up. It's down here on the ground. And this woman right here is holding a horn. And the talk about it question for this slide is an interesting one. What was your first car that you drove and who taught you? So interesting things to, gotten some good answers to that question over the years. So our artist spotlight for the picture word search today, as you could have gathered, was Stephen Dohanos, who's pictured in the center there, and he's an American artist. He was the third of 9 children, and as he was growing up, he worked lots of odd jobs. He worked in a steel mill and took art classes at night. Eventually, he went on to create 125 covers of the Saturday Evening Post, and he also founded the famous Artist School, or FAS, with Norman Rockwell and several other famous painters from that time period. He coined himself that his paintings depicted any town USA, and you can learn more at the website there, which has some additional examples of his work. All right, our next exercise is called Quiz 100, and we've done this one the last 2 weeks, so you're probably getting used to the routine here. I'm going to ask a question, and we're trying to come up with at least 5 answers. You might come up with more. Our example question today is name something you might skip. Name something you might skip. And for example, we might say, you might skip lunch, or some people, when they're out at the pond or lake, you might skip what? Rocks or pebbles or stones. Okay, so that's an example of Quiz 100. Our first question is, name an Olympic event that has a judge. Name an Olympic event that has a judge. Go ahead and pause if you'd like, or if you want to go on, I'm going to put some answers up on the screen. Okay, we came up with ice skating, gymnastics, synchronized swimming, diving, and boxing all have a judge who awards points. And we've added a talk about it question. What is your favorite Olympic sport to watch? I think mine's on the list over here. Gymnastics, or I'd add in there volleyball as well. So again, if you're doing this with a partner, it's a good get to know you question. What is your favorite Olympic sport to watch? Okay, on to our next question. Name an animal, mammal or insect that hops for locomotion. So the way that they get around is by hopping. Name an animal, mammal or insect that hops. Okay, we're going to move on to the answers. We've got rabbit, kangaroo, grasshopper, frog, or mountain goats. Interesting. Next question, name an animal with the word bull in its name. Name an animal with the word bull in its name. I'll give you a hint. At least one of these animals people keep in their homes as a pet. And several of these animals are something that people are often afraid of. Let's see what we have. Bullfrog, bulldog, pit bull. I guess there's two that might live in your home. A bull shark and a bull snake. Next question is name an animal that makes sounds at night. Got lots of animal questions today. Name an animal that makes sounds at night, or an animal that you may hear at nighttime. Okay, let's check out what we've got. Owl, cricket, cat, wolf, and coyote. So we've got an owl, a cricket, a cat, a wolf, and a coyote. And the talk about it question for this slide is, are you a night owl or a morning bird? And I will let you know that I am definitely in the night owl category, always have been. All right, next question. Okay, I think this is our last Quiz 100 question. Name something people stretch. Name something that people stretch. So there's a clue in the picture here. Obviously, there's lots of different parts of our body that we can stretch. How about a few other options? Okay, let's check out our answers. We have body parts, of course, budgets. You can stretch the truth. You might stretch your clothing if you put on a few extra pounds, and stretching food or provisions along with your budget. The talk about it question is, what are some tricks that you or your family do to stretch the budget? Or if you're not doing that right now, what have you done in the past? What did your parents do when you were a child? we've got lots of people in our MindFit program who were born either during or right after the Depression, or during World War II, and families had lots of different ways to make the budget stretch. So always a good answer. All right. Okay, our next exercise is called letter puzzles. So using the number and letter clues, solve the following common phrases. These are phrases that you're probably already familiar with, but when we break them down to take out the full word, it becomes a little bit more difficult. And I'll be giving us hints along the way. So one thing that's helpful is thinking about the category. These typically fall into time, measurements, government, geography, shapes, or hobbies, which are pretty broad set of topics, but I'll give you hints, as I said. So our first example is 26L of the A. This is an example, 26L of the A. And we've got some, I'll tell you that L stands for letters. We have some letters up on the screen. So 26 letters of the, if you guessed alphabet, that's the right answer. So 26 letters of the alphabet, and that is how letter puzzles works. Our first question is 7 days of the W. 7 days of the W. This has to do with the passage of time. And I'll go through all of them first so you can try to come up with some answers. Number 2 is 7W of the world. 7W of the world. This has to do with history. 4 sides of a S. 4 sides of a S. And this has to do with shapes. 13 stripes on the AF. 13 stripes on the AF. And the last one is 90 degrees in a RA. The hint for this one is it has to do with shapes. All right, so I'll give you a little bit of time to come up with those. And this would be a good place as well to pause it if you want to try to work out some of the answers. Okay, and our answers are 7 days of the week, 7 wonders of the world, 4 sides of a square, 13 stripes on the American flag, and 90 degrees in a right angle. Our next letter puzzle, 5T on a F. They're giving us less word clues on this level. 5T on an F. This has to do with human anatomy. 18H on a GC. This one is related to a hobby or sport. The next one's kind of an odd one. 3BM in parentheses SHTR. This one is actually an old nursery rhyme. 3BM SHTR. And I'll give you the R stands for run in this one. 3W on a T. This is something that children may play with. 12M in a Y. And this one has to do with the passage of time. So speaking of which, I'll give you a little bit of time to to look through those. And you can also go ahead and pause if you want some additional time. See what you can come up with. All right, our answers are 5 toes on a foot, 18 holes on a golf course, 3 blind mice see how they run, 3 wheels on a tricycle, and 12 months in a year. All right, our last letter puzzles challenge. Number 1, 3S on a T. This one has to do with the shape again. 29 D and F in a LY. This has to do with the passage of time. Number 3 also has to do with the passage of time. 60 M in an H. Number 4 is 8 L on a S. This one has to do with animals. And the last one is 64S on a CB. This has to do with a hobby or game. 64S on a CB. I'll give you a little bit of time to read through, or you can pause here. Okay, and our answers are 3 sides on a triangle, 29 days in February in a leap year, 60 minutes in an hour, 8 legs on a spider, and 64 squares on a chessboard. And we've got to talk about it pop up. Relates to number 5. Do you know how to play chess? Have you ever learned? Maybe who taught you, if you do know? And if you didn't play chess as a child, what games did you play? I know we played a lot of chess, checkers, and all kinds of card games at my house. So curious to know what you played as a child. And our last exercise for today is compound picture pairs. So, of course, compound words are words that are made up of 2 separate words that are combined to create a single word. But we're doing this with only picture clues. So we want you to identify 2 pictures that can be combined together to create a single compound word. For example, a picture of rain and a bow can be combined to create a rainbow. Okay, so here's our first pictures. We've got a head, a note, a board, a key, a foot, a stone, and a card. So to see what connections you can come up with there. And again, you might want to pause to give yourself a little more time. I'm going to give an example here since this is our first one. We could connect card and board to make the word cardboard. See, we've got headstone, keynote, footboard, footnote, and keyboard. And you may be able to come with some others as well. Our next pictures are, we've got a hockey stick and puck, a horse, some bread, someone who is drawing, some ginger down here, a shoe, and a bridge. See what pairs you can come up with. So far we've got gingerbread, horseshoe, breadstick, and how about for the bridge? We've got 2 pictures left. Drawbridge. Okay, on to the next one. Got quite a few pictures here. I'm not going to give the words that we're using for these pictures. See what you can come up with. That makes it a little bit more challenging. So what compound words can we create by combining 2 of these pictures? Start with the little boy here, because he's so cute. We've got cowboy. Here we've got some beans, so we've got beanbag. We've also got jelly bean. This one is snake bite. All right, last challenge for today. We've got a number of pictures here. Some good crossover. Some of these are used more than once. All right, I'll put a few up. We've got honeymoon, horsefly, honeydew, backtrack, and butterfly. And there may be a few others that you can find as well. All right, so those were all of our challenges for today. We always highlight an additional domain within our balanced care method, in addition to doing our cognitive stimulation through MindFit. So today's extra domain is physical activity, which is extremely important for our not only our physical health, but also our mental and emotional health. So one recommendation I would have, especially now, is to try a virtual class. And it seems simple, it is, but if you haven't done it before, there's a couple places to look. There's a great program, a nonprofit called Sit and Be Fit, and they're often aired on public television. It's led by a nurse who's been doing this for over 30 years, and she usually has, I believe it's her daughter with her, who does either a standing or seated version. So you can do whichever level is appropriate for you. Go for Life is a great resource through the National Institutes for Health, and it's a program that has online and printed material, and they have some videos as well. Your health insurance provider may also have a program that you can access for free or low cost that has virtual class options, something like Silver Sneakers, where you have access to online classes. And a lot of local senior centers or community centers are putting their classes online right now, so that's another good place to check. And our Talk About It question for today is, what things are you already doing that give you good physical exercise or activity? Going to get the mail, walking the dog, even stretching while you're hanging up laundry. These are all things that we do in our daily life that keep us physically active. And then what are some things that you'd want to do more of? It's a good starting place. All right, so as we wrap up, 2 resources from Home Care Assistance that you can also check out. The Home Care Assistance Enrichment Guide, which has a link to a wonderful Tai Chi video on page 7. and the Home Care Assistant Self-Care Guide if you're caring for a loved one and need some resources during this time. Please check this out as well. As always, if you have any questions, you can email me at the address on the screen, and I look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks. Thank you.